back and forth. Oh, I don't understand why you're standing right here. All your shots have scored. No, scratching at the scars you left on my skin. We fight and we fall and we rise through it all till we find what we want, then we lose it all again. Your touch on my skin.
So with the realm of getting cinematic footage here in 2018, it's become all about the equipment and the gear that we use to make our footage look good. With all of that added buzz, there has been a special buzz created around DSLR gimbals because of their ability to be available at a cheap price as well as the variety of features that they offer. And today we are going to be talking about whether you need a DSLR gimbal or not. With that being said, what's up guys, Anubhav here. If you guys like the video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and with that being said, let's not waste any more time and let's get started.
We fall, can we rise through it all till we find what we want, and we lose it all again. Your touch on my skin, pull me close.
So before we go into the decision-making process of whether you need or don't need a gimbal in general, let's first talk about what a gimbal is for the newbies out there. So if you don't know what a gimbal is basically a piece of equipment that allows its user to mount either a camera or a phone on it and then helps you get stable footage from it. So basically most gimbals have 3 axes like the one I'm using for demonstration purposes in this video, and it allows you to move the camera using the motors in these axes in specific directions while keeping your footage stable. So any type of movement that you do while your camera is mounted on the gimbal, the footage is going to be absolutely stable without any shake, which makes it look more professional and cinematic, which is probably one of the main reasons you and I both would use gimbals if given the opportunity. Now we come to the question, okay Anubhav, what is it that a gimbal can do that let's say my camera on a GorillaPod can't? Well, there are lots of things, going all the way from movement shots to following shots, especially the shots that you've seen on my intro. They were all shot using this DSLR gimbal. And if you guys want to know more about the gimbal that I am using right now, it's known as the Feiyutech A2000 DSLR gimbal, and I'll link it below if you want to check it out or buy this particular model. It's really cool, has a lot of features, and yeah, you can just check that out. Now coming back to the main topic, even with your camera on a GorillaPod, you can do a lot of stuff. Don't get me wrong here. You can totally hold the GorillaPod, get your movement shots, shoot it in slow motion, or apply some post-stabilization on it to make it look pretty similar to something that's shot right out of the box using a gimbal. But then again, that is the thing. The gimbal lets its user, aka you, do all of these things right out of the box. You don't need to shoot in slow motion if it's not necessary. You don't need to add post-stabilization if in case your footage is not stable. You can just pull out the gimbal, mount it on your camera, and go out on that shoot. So that's what a gimbal allows you to do for run and gun situations and for portable places where you don't really have a lot of time to put in. Then I think a gimbal is the way to go. But using a gimbal is not all fun and frolic. I mean, there are a lot of things that you should know in case you want to go ahead and buy a gimbal. The first thing, these things are extremely heavy, especially if you're looking at some of the DSLR models here. Any gimbal that you hold for the first time is going to make you think about dropping it that instant second. I mean, you don't need to exercise your arms at the gym anymore in case you're using a gimbal. It's almost like that. Plus, when you're using a good lens like my Sigma 1835 is a heavy lens, when you mount that on a one-handed gimbal, it becomes even heavier. And another problem with DSLR gimbals in general is the time that it takes to balance it. I mean, there are so many micro settings of each and every axis that you need to adjust before your gimbal properly calibrates itself, and I think it takes more time for me to adjust the camera on the gimbal before I actually go out and shoot stuff with the camera mounted on the gimbal. That's how tedious and frustrating it is sometimes. However, most gimbals nowadays, like the one that I'm using, has a dual handle, which essentially means you can mount it and distribute the weight evenly onto your two hands, which ensures better distribution of weight, less strain on your arms since you're now using both your arms, and posts more stabilization because you're going to be moving in a much more stable position. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, Anubhav, you're talking about all of these things. We get it. We might need a gimbal or might not. not, but what is your 2 cents on it? I'm a creator, should I get it or should I not? Well, the answer is there's no definite answer. I'm sorry to give you guys such an answer after this video, but that's the thing. I mean, I have been a guy who hasn't used a DSLR gimbal for the longest time of his life. For the past 3 years, I didn't have a DSLR gimbal. I still used to get my cinematic footage. Granted, it was not as good as it would have been if I would have had that gimbal. It was still at par or pretty good compared to the gimbal footage. So that's the thing. You can do a lot of things by mounting your GorillaPod on your camera and shooting stuff in slow motion or applying some stabilization in post-production or while editing. However, if you're a person who needs a gimbal just to get smooth shots and you need it right out of the box without any added effort, I think gimbals are the best way to save all of that effort that you need to do to get stable footage rather than just slapping your camera on top of that equipment. And well guys, that's been pretty much it. This is what I feel about using DSLR gimbals. They are a great tool. They're super fun to use. People stare at you all the time. It looks like you're some kind of superstar, but then again, it comes with its own set of cons. That is the weight while balancing as well as the weight while you hold it. However, it is a super helpful piece of equipment that I'm not stopping to use anytime soon now that I have one. But if you don't have one, don't consider yourself under-geared in any way. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, you know what to do. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel. I have more videos to make, so I'll go and do that. With that being said, I will see you guys in my next one. Be sure to follow me on Instagram and on Twitter for behind the scenes. This is Anubhav signing out, and I will see you guys later. Have a great day. Peace out.